One of those nostalgic trips from the 80s is Overboard. Again, another movie, much like My Stepmother's an Alien, that I watched lots when I was younger. I found it endearing, funny. I was a little bit worried about going back to it and what it had to offer. Was it going to live up to my expectations? Was it going to be one of those nostalgic trips where you look back and go, oh, what was I thinking? That's just nowhere near as good as I remember. Thankfully, Overboard lived up to my expectations. And the story was a rather convoluted one, so to speak, because you have this Dean character played by Kurt Russell, whom is a carpenter who gets hired to do some work on a yacht for an extremely rich woman who has a really stuck-up attitude and doesn't take time to think about anybody else. Horrible person, played by Goldie Hawn, and she has an accident, falls overboard. She gets amnesia and is discovered by the Coast Guard, taken back to the small town where she was last at. And her husband, in a moment of realisation, thinks, you know what, she's a little bit too much high maintenance, I'm just going to leave her here with amnesia. And Dean has an idea to get revenge on the woman who cost him a lot of money and all his tools for working. And he decides to rock up and say, that's my wife. He takes her back home where he's got his kids, his shack, and gives her a whole new lifestyle that she never expected and is really struggling to fit into. It's the kind of movie where you can almost hear the pitchforks being sharpened if it was released these days. I know it was a remake, but that's different because it was role reversal. This one is a movie that gets by almost solely on the charm between Goldie Hawn and Kurt Russell, who are absolutely fantastic together.
We've only been here a couple of weeks, and a lot of stuff still left in boxes from the move, so I hardly recognize the place myself.
We moved here deliberately.
It's all about this pairing. This is the magic, the chemistry that drives the movie forward. Now, of course, there are wonderful side characters, there are hilarious moments, there are laugh out loud and some just light chuckles as well. Watching Goldie Hawn struggle to adapt to life within this shack is just incredibly funny. Watching her cope as Gary Marshall, the director, kind of takes a little bit of an emotion onto this as a woman who suddenly finds her footing, turning the family's life around, making Kurt Russell the better man that he could be, making the kids much more attentive and better off, turning the house into a home. And it's over this period of time where you're starting to see them fall in love and become the couple that you want them to be. Ultimately knowing there's that huge hurdle coming in the distance of them having to own up and explain their truth of Kurt Russell pretty much hijacking this woman from her life and turning her into a housewife. But it doesn't matter. It's an endearing movie. It's a movie that's full of charm. It's got a certain wit about it, and it just has this two amazing lead performances that really do connect and create a wonderful couple to root for. I found that Overboard was really funny, even though it's been a number of years since I've seen it. At just over 106 minutes, it just tends to fly by. It's easy to watch. It's the kind of thing that I can see me putting on again and watching more often. The funny, quirky score, the movie reeks of the 80s, and that's not a bad thing. And it just put a smile on my face. Again, a nostalgic trip down memory lane that lived up to my memories, which I am really grateful about. I thought Overboard was incredibly well placed out. It's an unrealistic movie that's just one of those pure entertainment films. It's designed not to give you anything to think about or anything like that. It's just there just for the chuckles. Just for the wonderful relationships, the funny situations, and the smile that is going to put right across your face. And Overboard does that in abundance. I really enjoyed going back to this one. It was another joyous watch, something that I was really glad to kind of look back at my younger taste and go, you know what? Young Graham was right. He had decent taste. Not everything was Mac and me. He had some good picks in there as well. I'd love to know if you've seen Overboard and what you think about it. I am particularly curious, not curious enough to watch it, but curious about the remake that came out a number of years ago. So you can let me know if that's worth watching or not. I doubt I will. As always, there's more content up here. If you have a brief second, click that like button because it makes all the difference to me. Even comment and talk to me about the movie, which is always wonderful, always something I'm looking forward to. And if you want to support me just a little bit extra, you can join the Patreon or the membership program for as little as 99p a month. And it does the world of good for my channel. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time on Man v Film.